Xiang Kao, styled Yu, was a native of Xiang. He was only 24 years old when he first raised an army. His uncle was Xiang Liang, whose father was Xiang Yan, a general of Chu who was killed by Wang Jian, a general of Qin. The Xiang clan had served as generals of Chu for generations and was enfeoffed in Xiangyi, hence taking the surname Xiang. Xiang Ji tried to learn calligraphy but failed. He then turned to swordsmanship, which he also did not master. Xiang Liang was angry with Xiang Dosei is only enough to record names. Swordsmanship only allows one to fight against a single person, neither is worth learning. I want to learn skills to confront 10,000 men. So Xiang Liang taught him the art of war. Xiang Ji was overjoyed, but after grasping the general gist of military strategy, he refused to study it to completion. Xiang Liang was once wanted by the authorities in Yuan. He asked Cao Jiu, the prison officer of Qi County, to write a letter to Sima Xin, the prison officer of Yuan, and thus the matter was settled. Later, Xiang Liang killed someone and fled to Wuzhong with Xiang Gai to avoid their enemy. All the virtuous and capable scholars and officials in Wuzhong were not as competent as Xiang Liang. Whenever there were large-scale co-RV labor or funerals in Wuzhong, Xiang Liang often took charge. He secretly arranged and deployed guests and clansmen, using military tactics, thereby gaining insight into their abilities. When Emperor Shi Huang of Qin toured Kuaiji, Xiang Liang went to watch. Xiang said, I can replace. Xiang Liang covered his mouth and said, don't talk nonsense, otherwise our entire clan will be exterminated. Nevertheless, Xiang Liang henceforth regarded Xiang Ji as extraordinary. Xiang Ji was over 8 feet all, a traditional Chinese unit of length, approximately 1.84 meters or more, with great strength, capable of lifting a large cauldron. His talent and courage surpassed ordinary people, and even the young men of Wuzhong feared him. The uprising against Qin 209 BCE, in July of the first year of Qin Er's High 209 BCE, Chen Shi and others launched an uprising in Day's Township. In September of the same year, Yin Tong, the governor of Kuaiji, said to Xiang Yan, all regions west of the Yangtze River have rebelled. This is heaven's opportunity to destroy Tian. I have heard that those who act first control others, while those who act later are controlled by others. I want to raise troops and ask you and Huan Chu to lead them. At that time, Huan Chu was in hiding in the marshes. Xiang Liang said, Huan Chu is in hiding, and no one knows his whereabouts except Xiang Ji. He went out, told Xiang Gai to wait outside with a sword, then returned and sat with the governor. Please summon Xiang Ji, he said, so that he can receive your order to recall Huan Chu. The governor agreed. When Xiang Ji entered, Xiang Liang winked at him after a moment and said, it's time to act. Xiang Ji immediately drew his sword and beheaded the governor. Xiang Liang took the governor's head, wore his official seal, and the governor's attendants were terrified and thrown into chaos. Xiang Ji killed dozens to over 100 of them, intimidating everyone in the mansion into submission. Xiang Liang then summoned the influential officials he knew, informed them of his plan to rise up, and conscripted soldiers in Wuzhong. He sent people to gather troops from all counties under Kuaiji, obtaining 8,000 elite soldiers. He appointed prominent figures in Wuzhong as military officers, such as Shaowei Colonel, Zhenhu military commander, and Sima Marshal, who was not appointed, came to ask Xiang Liang about it. Xiang Liang replied, not long ago I asked you to manage a funeral, but you failed to do it well, so I cannot appoint you. The others were thus convinced of Xiang Liang's judgment. At this time Xiang Liang became the governor of Kuaiji, and Xiang Ji served as his deputy general, conquering the counties under his jurisdiction. Alliance with other rebels, Xiaoping, a native of Guanglin, was attacking Guanglin for King Chen, she but failed to capture it. Hearing that King Chen had been defeated and fled, and that Qin troops were approaching, he crossed the Yangtze River and falsely conveyed King Chen's order, appointing Xiang Liang as Shangju Jiyu, a high military rank of Chu. The east of the Yangtze has been pacified, Xiaoping said. Hurry west to attack the Qin army. Xiang Liang then sent 8,000 soldiers across the Yangtze to march west. Learning that Chen Ying had captured Dongyan, Xiang Liang sent envoys to seek an alliance to march west together. Chen Ying was originally a clerk in Dongyan County, known locally for his honesty, prudence, and loyalty. Young men in Dongyang had killed their county magistrate, gathered several thousand people, and wanted to choose a leader but found no suitable candidate, so they asked Chen Ying to take the role. Chen Ying declined but could not refuse, and 20,000 people in the county followed him. The young men wanted to make Chen Ying king and set themselves apart by wrapping their heads in green scarves. Chen Ying's mother said to him, since I married into your family, I have never heard that any of your ancestors were prominent. Now you suddenly gain a prestigious title, it is an ill omen. It is better to submit to others. If we succeed, you can be enfeoffed as a marquis. If we fail, you can easily escape without being targeted by name. Thus, Chen Ying did not dare to become king. He told his officers, the Xiang clan has been generals for generations and is highly prestigious in Chu. To accomplish great things now, we need a competent leader. Relying on this noble clan, we will surely destroy Qin. Everyone obeyed, and Chen Ying led his troops to submit to Xiang Liang. When Xiang Liang crossed the Huai River, King Biyu and General Pu also led their troops to join. Xiang Liang's army now had 60,000 to 70,000 soldiers encamped at Xiaxiang. Suppression of King Jian, the search for the Chu royal descendant. At this time, Kan Jia had established Jingju as king of Chu encamped east of Pingtian, intending to oppose Xiang Liang. Xiang Liang said to his officers, King Chen was the first to rise up. Though he suffered setbacks, his whereabouts are unknown. Now Qin Jia has betrayed him and established Jingju as king. This is a heinous crime. He then led his army to attack Qin Jia. Qin Jia's troops were defeated and fled. Xiang Liang pursued them to Hu. Qin Jia turned back to fight and was killed in a day-long battle, with his soldiers surrendering. Jingju fled to Liangdian died. After merging Qin Jia's army, Xiang Liang camped at Hulu and prepared to march west. When Shang Han's Qin army reached Lixiang County, Xiang Liang sent his subordinate generals Yu Zhish and Yu Fenzhen to engage them. Yu Fenzhen was killed in battle, and Yu Zhish's troops were defeated and fled to Hu. Xiang Liang then led his army into Zhou County and executed Yu Zhishi. Earlier, Xiang Liang had sent Xiang Yu to lead a separate force to attack Xiang Chen, but when Xiang Yu finally captured it, he buried all its defenders and civilians alive before reporting back to Xiang Liang. Upon hearing that King Chen was indeed dead, Xiang Liang summoned all rebel generals to discuss matters in Zukang. At this time, Liu Bang, later Emperor Gao Ziyu of Han, had also raised an army in Pei County and went to Zhu County. Fan Zhang, a 70-year-old native of Zhuchao, who lived in seclusion and specialized in clever strategies, went to advise Xiang Liang. Chen Sheng's defeat was inevitable. When Qin destroyed the 6 states, Chu was the most innocent. Since King Hui of Chu went to Qin and never returned, the people of Chu have still sympathized with him to this day. The southern Duke of Chu said, even if only 3 households remain in Chu, those who destroy Qin will surely be Chu people. Now Chen Sheng rose first but established himself as king instead of a descendant of the Chu royal family. His momentum could not last. You rose in the east of the Yangtze, and generals from Chu have flocked to submit to you, precisely because the Xiang clan has been Chu's generals for generations, and they believe you will restore a descendant of the Chu royal family as king. Xiang Liang thought Fan Zhang's words were reasonable. He found Zhang Xin, a descendant of King Hui of Chu, who was herding sheep among common people, and established him as King Hui of Chu to comply with popular will. Chen Ying was appointed Shenzhou Guo with a fief of 5 counties, and he and King Hui established the capital at Zutai. Xiang Liang styled himself Lord Wuxi. The Battle of Dingtao and Xiang Liang's death. A few months later, Xiang Liang led his army to attack King Fu, and together with the key generals Yuan Rong and Sima Longju, he rescued A Chen and defeated the Qin army there. Yan Rong then led his troops back to Qi, expelled King Tian Jia of Qi. Tian Jia fled to Chu, his prime minister Yan Zhao fled to Zhao, and Tian Zhaoyi's younger brother Tian Jian, originally a Qi general, stayed in Zhao and did not dare to return. Tian Rong established Tian Dan Sunjiang, she as king of Qi. After defeating the Qin army at Hn, Xiang Liang pursued the retreating enemy and repeatedly sent envoys to Qi, asking Tian Rong to send troops to march west together. I will send troops only if Chu kills Tian Jian, Shao kills Tian Zhuan, Hao and Tian. Xiang Liang refused, saying, Tian Jia is the king of an ally who came to us in distress. I cannot bear to kill him. Shao also refused to kill Tian Zhao and Tian Jian as a bargain with Qi, so Qi never sent troops to assist Chu. Xiang Liang sent Liu Bang and Xiang Yu to lead a separate force to attack Zihenjiang, which they sacked. The Chu army then defeated the Qin army east of Puyang. The Qin troops retreated into Puyang City. Liu Bang and Xiang Yu then attacked Dingtao, but left before capturing it to seize territory further west. They reached Yangqiu, defeated the Qin army, and beheaded Liu at Tianzheng. They then turned back to attack Huai, but failed to take. Xiang Liang's army, advancing west from Chen and approaching Dingtao, defeated the Qin army again, and Xiang Yu and others beheaded Liu, filling Xiang Liang with overconfidence and arrogance. Song Yi admonished him. An army whose generals and soldiers grow arrogant and lax after victory is bound to be defeated. Now our soldiers are becoming lax, while the Qin army is growing stronger by the day. I am worried for you. Xiang Liang ignored him and sent Song Yi as an envoy to Qi. On the way, Song Yi met Tian Jian, the Qi envoy Lord Gao Lin. Are you going to see Lord Wuxian? Song Yi asked. Yes, Qiang Jiang replied. Song Yi said, I believe Lord Wuxian's army will surely be defeated. If you go slowly, you will avoid death. If you hurry, you will be doomed. As predicted, Qin sent all its available troops to reinforce Xiang Han, who attacked the Chu army and routed it at Dingtao. Xiang Liang was killed in battle. Liu Bei and Xiang Yu, who had left Wei Huang to attack Xiang Yu, which held out, discussed together. Now Xiang Liang's army has been defeated, and our soldiers are panicking. They then joined Ao Chen's army and marched. Ao Chen camped east of Pendian, Xiang Yu west of Pendian, and Liu Bang at Dengtao. The siege of Julu and Xiang Yu's rise as allied commander after defeating Xiang Liang's army. Zhang Han believed the Chu troops were no longer a threat. He crossed the Yellow River to attack Xiao, and routed the Xiao army. At that time, Xiaozi was king of Xiao, Chen Yu was his general, and Zhang Er, his prime minister, all fled into Julu city. Zhang Han ordered Wang Li and Shijian to besiege Julu, while he camped south of the city and built supply routes to transport grain. Chen Yu led tens of thousands of soldiers to camp north of Julu. This was the so-called Army of He. After the defeat at Dingtao, King Huai of Chu was terrified. He moved from Zhuhai to Pendian, merged Xiang Yu's and Dao Chen's armies, and took personal command. He appointed El Chen as Sichu, a high ministerial rank, and Dao Chen's father El King as Lingyan prime minister of Qin. Liu Bang as governor of Deng Commandery, and fed him as Marquis of Wuan, and put him in charge of the troops of Deng Commandery. Earlier, Tao Yanjiang, the key envoy who had met Song Yi, was in the Chu army. He told King Huai, Song Yi predicted that Lord Wuxian's army would be defeated, and a few days later, it indeed was. Chu foresaw defeat before battle. This man is well versed in the art of war. Summoned Song Yi to discuss military affairs, was greatly impressed, and appointed him as supreme general. Xiang Yu was made Duke of Luan deputy general, and Fan Zhang as junior general, all to rescue. All other generals were subordinated to Song Yi, who was titled Lord Champion. The army marched to Enyag and stayed there for 46 days without advancing. Xiang Yu said, I hear the Qin army is besieging King Shao in Julu. We should cross the river quickly. Our army attacks from the outside, and the Zhao army responds from the inside. We will surely defeat the Qin army. Song Yi replied, Not so. A gadfly that bites cattle cannot harm lice. Now the Qin army is attacking Shao. If Qin wins, its troops will be exhausted, and we can take advantage of their weakness. If Qin loses, we can march west with drums beating, and surely destroy Qin. Thus, it is better to let Qin and Shao fight each other first. In donning armor and wielding weapons to charge into battle, I am not your equal, but in observing the situation and devising strategies, you are not mine. He then issued an order to the army. Whoever is as fierce as a tiger, as stubborn as a sheep, as greedy as a wolf, or defies orders shall be beheaded. Zhang He sent his son Song Xiang to assist He, personally seeing him off to Wuyan and holding a grand feast for guests. Meanwhile, the weather was cold and rainy, and the soldiers were old and hungry. Xiang Yu said, We are supposed to unite to attack Qin, yet we stay here for so long. There is famine, the people are poor, and the soldiers have only taro and beans to eat. There is no grain in the army. Yet General Song holds grand feasts, refuses to cross the river to find food in Zhao, and talks of taking advantage of weakness. Instead of joining forces with Zhao to attack Qin, with Qin's strength, it will surely destroy the newly established Shao. Once Zhao falls, Qin will grow stronger. What weakness can we exploit then? Moreover, our army has just been defeated. King Huai is restless, and he has given all our troops to General Song. The fate of our state depends on this battle. Now he disregards his soldiers and pursues personal gain. He is no loyal subject of the state. The next morning, Xiang Yu went to see Supreme General Song Yi and beheaded him in his tent. He stepped out and ordered the army. Song Yi conspired with Qi to betray Chu. King Huai secretly ordered me to kill him. The generals were all intimidated and dared not resist. The Xiang family founded Chu. They said, now the general has executed. They jointly appointed Xiang Yu as acting supreme general. Xiang Yu sent men to pursue Song Yi's son, caught him in Qi, and killed him. Who then formally appointed Xiang Yu as supreme general, with Lord Dangyang and General Pu subordinated to him. The decisive battle at Julu, after killing Lord Champion, Xiang Yu's prestige shook Chu and spread among the feudal lord. He sent Lord Dangyang and General Pu with 20,000 soldiers across the Yellow River to rescue Julu. They achieved some minor victories, and Chen Yu requested more reinforcements. Xiang Yu then led his entire army across the river. Once across, they scuttled their boats, smashed their cooking utensils, burned their camps, and carried only 3 days' rations, showing their determination to fight to the death with no intention of retreat. The army immediately surrounded Wanli and engaged the Qin army. After 9 battles, they cut off the Qin supply routes, routed the enemy, killed Suzhou, and captured Wang. Shi Jian refused to surrender and burned himself to death. At this time, the Chu army was the bravest among all feudal lords. More than a dozen allied camps had been set up to rescue Jiangsu, but no one dared to engage the Qin army. When the Chu army attacked, all allied generals watched from their fortifications. The Chu soldiers fought 10 Qin soldiers each, and their battle cries shook the sky, striking terror into the hearts of all allied troops. After defeating the Qin army, Xiang Yu summoned the allied generals. When they entered the camp gate, they crawled on their knees and did not dare to look up at him. From this point on, Xiang Yu became the supreme commander of the allied forces, and all feudal lords obeyed his orders. Zheng Han's army was stationed at Jiuan, while Xiang Yu's army was camped south of the Jiangsu River. The two armies faced each other, but no battle had yet been fought. The Qin army retreated several times, and Qin Huai, the second emperor of Qin, sent messengers to reprimand Zheng Han. Fearing for his safety, Zheng Han dispatched Sima Xin, the chief clerk, to the imperial court to seek instructions. Upon arriving in Xianyang, Sima Xin waited at the Sima Gate and entrance to the imperial palace complex for 3 days, but Xiao Gao refused to grant him an audience, signaling distrust. Terrified, Sima Xin fled back to the army, daring not take the original route. As expected, Xiao Gao sent men to pursue him, but they failed to catch up. When Sima Xin returned to the camp, he reported to Zheng Han, Xiao Gao holds power in the court, and no one below dares to act without authorization. If we win the battle, Xiao Gao will certainly envy our merits. If we lose, death will be unavoidable. I hope you, General, will think this through carefully. Chen Yu also wrote a letter to Zhang Han, stating, by Qisar, as a Qin general, he conquered Yan Unjing in the south, and massacred the troops of Lord Ma Fu in the north. He captured countless cities and seized vast territories, with military achievements beyond count, yet in the end, he was ordered to commit suicide. Meng Yan was also a Qin general. He drove out the Rung and Di barbarians in the north and opened up thousands of li of land in Wuzhong, but he was eventually executed in Jiangsu. Why is this? Because their merits were too great. Qin could not reward them sufficiently, so it fabricated crimes to have them killed. Now you have served as a Qin general for 3 years, and the number of soldiers lost amounts to hundreds of thousands. Meanwhile, the feudal lords have risen up together, and their forces are growing stronger by the day. That Xiao Gao has long held power through flattery. Now that the situation is critical, he also fears being killed by Qin Huai. Thus he intends to fabricate crimes against you to shift the blame, and send someone to replace you to escape disaster. You have been campaigning outside for too long and have formed grudges with many in the court. Whether you have merits or not, you will be killed. Moreover, heaven is about to destroy it in a fact known to both the foolish and the wise. Now you cannot speak out frankly to remonstrate in the court, and you are a general of a doomed state abroad. To seek long-term survival in such isolation, isn't that tragic? Why not turn back your troops, ally with the feudal lords, and agree to attack Qin together? You can divide Qin's territory and proclaim yourself king, sitting facing south and calling yourself the lonely one, a royal self-title. Compared to bowing your head to be killed and having your wife, children, and family slaughtered, which is better? Zheng Han hesitated. He secretly sent Xu Chen, a military officer, as an envoy to Xiang Yu's camp, seeking to form an alliance against. Before the alliance could be concluded, Xiang Yu dispatched General Pu to lead troops across the San Hu ferry day and night. Pu's army camped south of the Jiangsu River, engaged the Qin army, and defeated them once again. Later, Xiang Yu led his entire army to attack the Qin forces at the Wushu River, inflicting a crushing defeat. Zheng Han sent envoys to meet Xiang Yu, formally requesting to form a covenant. Xiang Yu summoned his military officials for consultation and said, our army is short of grain. I intend to approve their request for an alliance. All the officials replied, good. Xiang Yu then agreed with Zheng Han on a meeting date at the Yin ruins, south of the Huangshui River. After the covenant was concluded, Zheng Han met Xiang Yu and wept, complaining about Xiao Gao's treachery. Xiang Yu then enfeoffed Zheng Han as the king of Yang and placed him in the Chu army. He appointed Sima Xin, the chief clerk, as the grand general, ordering him to lead the Qin troops and march ahead. When the army reached Tex in An, the soldiers of the feudal lords who had previously passed through Qin territory while performing co-RVE labor or garrisoning the frontier recalled how the Qin officers and soldiers had mostly treated them with disrespect. Now that the Qin troops had surrendered, the allied soldiers took advantage of their victory to treat the Qin POWs like slaves and captives, humiliating them at will. Most of the Qin officers and soldiers whispered among themselves, General Zhang Han and others tricked us into surrendering to the feudal lords. If we can enter the pass and defeat Qin, that will be fine, but if we cannot, the lords will take us captive to the east, and Qin will surely execute all our parents, wives, and children. The allied generals vaguely heard these remarks and reported them to Xiang. Xiang Yu then summoned King Bu and General Pu to plot. There are too many Qin officers and soldiers, and they are discontented in their hearts. If they still refuse to obey orders when we reach Guanzhong, the situation will be dangerous. It is better to attack and kill them, and only enter Qin territory with Zhang Han, Chief Clerk Sima Xin, and Commandant Dong Yi. Thus the Chu army massacred all over 200,000 surrendered Qin soldiers by burying them alive south of